Welcome, guys, to another episode of the Fourth and a Mile podcast. I'm Nicholas Elliott alongside with JD Zasa. We're back with an NFL edition, episode 4. We'll be recapping week 1, telling you guys about the injury status about players for this weekend and weeks beyond, and previewing week 2. JD, how about we get started? How you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. I had work last night, so that was something, but now I get to talk football.
Yep, very nice. Let's head straight into the injury report. I mean,
Tons of
tough,
injuries.
yeah, tough week for fans of teams who just paid quarterbacks. Guess we can say that. Jordan Love going down. It was like the last play of the game
It
in
was
the
like
fourth
second
quarter.
last play.
In the last play, I didn't really watch much of that game. Out with an MCL injury for several weeks per Ian Rappaport. So that's
According to
something.
Matt
Yeah,
LaFleur on his pot on his like coach show Green Bay does, he's day to day.
that's weird.
So he's like questionable for Saturday, but I would assume Packers go to save him for 2 weeks
Yeah.
game and the next game just to make sure he's completely fine.
So you think they'll give Malik Willis?
Yeah, I think Malik Willis will start 2 games for them.
Wow, interesting. There's still a lot of decent QBs out there that they could have picked up, but
They like
well,
him.
he's a good prospect. David Njoku out with an ankle injury that happened against the Cowboys back in week 1. I don't know how many weeks he's out, but I know he's out for sure this week. He might be out a couple weeks, maybe a month or two.
It
But
didn't.
that's kind of a big
It
blow
didn't
for
look good.
the.
It didn't look good.
No, I
Uh,
didn't look good at all. He was like their only bright spot in the game in the first half until he got hurt.
yeah,
And the Browns need as many. I mean, they have good receivers, but that every time they'd get in good
quarterback.
drive going, yep, Deshaun Watson would get sacked, and he's ongoing allegations and whatnot. And we have Christian McCaffrey still nursing the calf injury slash, I think it's like an Achilles slash calf injury from what I've seen. I don't know how many weeks he's going to be out. He might be questionable for this week or it might be out. I'm not
I've
100%
got
sure.
I've got to take on this one. So I play fantasy with my work group. I was 1-1. I got McCaffrey. He he was questionable pretty much the entire all the way to the Jets. 24 hours later, he decides he's not playing, and I lose my fantasy week 1. It turns out it's like it's supposed to be more than just this week. It's could be for the next few weeks. So Jordan Mason, the San Francisco running back, is probably going to be their starter for probably maybe for a little more for a little longer than I think
Yeah.
most people thought.
With how he played on Monday night, I wouldn't really be too concerned, but it's still a big loss considering he scored almost every other week. But I think it's kind of weird because Jordan Mason, I think it was in an interview right after the game, or it was either like in the press conference, he said, someone asked him, like, when did you find out you were starting? And he said Friday. But it was actually not until Monday, like afternoons, when they announced Christian McCaffrey was out. So it's kind of like a suspicious situation we have brewing over there.
Yeah, it would have been nice to if he said, "Oh, Friday, Christian McCaffrey's out."
Yep.
Next injury we have is Marshawn Lattimore. He's questionable against the Cowboys this week. What do you know about this as a Saints fan?
I mean, I looked at the practice report. He did not practice the past 2 days, so we'll see. He's probably just gonna be a game time decision. I mean, they'll need him out there. I mean, if not, they still have good corners with Paulson Adebo, Alante Taylor. I mean, they can use Kool-Aid McKinstry,
The
their
Saints
second round pick.
the Saints defense I'm not worried about. I'm not worried
Yeah,
about really. It's the offense that can
yeah.
know.
We'll get into that later. And how
You want
about with an
you want
Alabama quarterback Tua Tagovailoa getting injured, and then today Mike McDaniel's says the team is moving forward with Skylar Thompson, and that the best thing he can do is not assess the injury from a football standpoint, which doesn't really sound well considering the history that of Tua's concussion injuries that he's had in the past couple of years.
Okay, let's transition to that game because
Yep.
we were talking about that game first anyway. I did see we talked before, I did not watch a ton of this game, but I did see the injury itself and then the picks. He did not look great,
Mm-mm.
but that doesn't matter. It's a
That
game. It's
matters
just
first.
one game. The injury, though, I'm very confused with the coaching. He dived. He could have
Yeah.
easily slid. It would have been 4th and 1. Probably could have sneaked it or done anything. And you know what's worse? He dove into Damar Hamlin. Like, I really hope no one really NFL Twitter's gonna be like, oh, Damar Hamlin did something. It's like the T Higgins thing a few years ago when with Damar Hamlin. I really hope for Damar Hamlin's sake that he doesn't get any hate on Twitter
Nah, I don't think
because it's not his fault. I mean, Tua
more
shouldn't
so
have
it's his
dove.
fault.
Tua shouldn't have dove, and plus it was just a weird injury.
Yeah, I mean, my thoughts on that play. Tua sometimes tries to, especially on like third down, and when he has nobody open, he tries to sometimes play hero ball and tries to split the tackles, run for the first down, and that's why he just doesn't need to be running. I just throw it away, man. You're down by 21. You don't need to be making hero or just like slide. Go on the slide. I mean, he still hasn't. I remember his first game when he was starting against the Cardinals or whatever. Like he was running all over the field and he wouldn't slide at all. And he still hasn't learned how to slide.
So I like that he played hero ball under no circumstances, but his circumstances are a little interesting with
Yeah.
his past injuries. So I'm
You
like,
need
come on. Like, you're not even talking about the concussions. Even going back to his Alabama days, the injury against Mississippi State. Go ahead and slide. Like, it's play the next play. We need you
yep.
for upcoming weeks. Pretty much in summary, before we actually get into the game, I just hope he's okay. Like
Yeah. Thoughts and
I,
prayers with his family.
I told some people at work yesterday. I'm glad he got the money. He got the money when he did, so he could. So worst case scenario, he can provide for his family.
Yep.
Like he's gonna be financially okay. I hope not. I hope to God that's not the case. I hope he's okay, but we don't know. And I'm not gonna make any speculation or anything. It sucks, but
They need
just
to give him
just
the
prayers up
guardian cap.
prayers up for Tua.
Agreed. They need to give him the guardian cap. I think he needs to if he does return to playing. Well, hopefully the doctors and him may come up with a good answer either that he can continue playing without hurting his brain area even more. He needs to play with some sort of protection because that injury continues to happen. But let's get into the game. Ah, ever since that first drive of the Dolphins threw a pick on the first drive, and it just seemed like it was just the Bills' game to lose. They had control. Offensive line played really good with James Cook getting 3 touchdowns,
I'm
one
jealous of
reception,
him,
and
guys.
two rushing. Fantasy owners got a ton of points there. Josh Allen, no turnovers for him. He has no interceptions through 2 weeks. I mean, new Josh Allen. Khalil Shakir shined as the receiver. I mean, I don't even think Keon Coleman got a touch. But all in all, it was just a very balanced game, and their defense played really good with the safety. They played safety deep to stop Tyreek, and they played everything down low. That's why Devon Achane had a big game. I think he had like 120 scrimmage yards, maybe more than that.
So for the Bills, like Josh Allen became fire god. He became a god. Like he's one of the he's one of the he's one of my favorite quarterbacks like ever to watch. Just when he's on fire, he's so much fun to watch.
Yeah.
But this game kind of brings up the question for me that a ton of Dolphins fans are having. What's the issue with Miami? Like they're so electric on offense, but they they haven't been able to play physical football for
Yep.
ever. Like they can't like the Chiefs game, and it's just been through McDaniel's whole regime. Like they've never been able to be physical. Like, look at the Chiefs, for instance. They have speed, but
And
also they have this. They built the defensive line. Their defense, they built through the draft defense, 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 and they developed the front seven. I mean, they have one of the best front sevens in the NFL. What I'm and 49ers, that's where McDaniel came from. Where did they build on? They're built on the run in the defensive line and the offensive line. I'm just I'm just like, yes, you have the speed, but also I don't know, like I thought there'd be a change after the Chiefs game that they'd go more physical, but kind of looks like the same Miami where it's like speed versus everything. And that's why
yeah,
I think they struggle in January.
yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure they haven't won a playoff game in like 24 years, 20 to 4, 24, 20. They have the longest playoff drought without a win.
Yeah.
And
Like the
I think
Jets have
another big loss is losing Christian Wilkins to free agency because he was like probably their most dynamic defensive lineman, and they lost that. They got Calais Campbell, but he's long past his prime. He's still pretty good, but he's
I
not like
mean
how he used to be.
I mean they paid Bradley Chubb, they paid Jalen Ramsey, so you had to let some guy go, but
Bradley Chubb has been. You haven't even heard his name
like
anywhere.
like for Christian Wilkins, like one guy wasn't going to fix that problem.
No,
And they weren't going to pay him anyway. He was going to get so much money in the offseason because defensive linemen
pretty good year.
do not go, do not leave. So Vegas did what they had to do.
Yeah, let's head into our some of last week's games. We got the game from last Friday. We got Eagles 34, Packers 29 in Brazil. I mean, that was Saquon coming out party. He played a good game. Jalen Hurts, I think he had a couple interceptions. He didn't really look great, but when you have Saquon Barkley, you get him from the Giants, sign that new deal, and he has a game like that. That gives a lot of hope, optimism. I mean, after last year's ending to the Eagles for this upcoming season.
That's the reason you saw what the Eagles could do. Like after the first quarter, which is where Jalen Hurts threw the two interceptions. When they finally got going, when they started getting some chemistry going, there's a reason why I picked them to be my Super Bowl champs. They are scary on the offensive side. And on the defensive side, they looked fine. I mean, obviously they couldn't cover Jaden Reed, but like
Yeah, Jaden Reed had a big game.
the secondary looked a lot better. I mean, I'll tell you this, Quinion Mitchell, what a pick. So in through one game, he was outstanding for the Eagles
Yeah,
in his first game. But yeah, it was a fun game, slippery. I mean, another problem with the field, which I'm not really going to get into because I didn't watch the game. I just watched the two really good teams go at it, and it sucks one had to lose because it was a great game.
yeah. Let's get on to Sunday's action. Texans Colts. We both picked the Colts in this game, but the Texans, man, gritty win and on the road. I mean,
Wait,
the one
Col-
highlight that was pretty cool to see was Anthony Richardson's bomb of a touchdown to Alex Pierce. That was just perfectly thrown. But CJ Stroud and company got the win.
they just look. Colts did everything they could. Anthony Richardson, he's still boomer bust. I mean,
Yep.
he's so good, but also misses a few. Texans, though, yeah, like the Colts did everything they could, but you're not stopping that offense. I mean, everyone thought Joe Mixon was going to be the issue. Yeah,
Yeah,
he
big
looked pretty
game.
good. Yeah, he looked pretty good. Texans offense is going to be really, really good. And
Yep.
this matchup is good. I hope we get this matchup for years to come because this game was so much fun. Like even week 18s last year was so much fun. I love watching these two play.
Yep. I mean, we'll get it one more time this year, so that always helps with them being divisional opponents. Let's head to probably the game of the weekend though. Outside of the Chiefs Ravens game was Rams 20, Lions 26 in overtime. They had the same fireworks as last season's playoff game. Detroit was loud. It was ready. and they look good. I mean, their defense looked a little better. Cooper Cup had himself a game. I mean, we forgot to mention the injury report. Puka Nakua going down. I don't think he's out for a couple weeks. That's kind of a big loss for
Yeah,
them.
but the Rams got Prime Cooper Cup back, it looks like.
Yeah. And they got Tyler Johnson at
Yeah,
receiver. He had a nice game.
he had a very
Sean
nice.
McVay always finds all these guys who nobody under the radar guys and nobody picks up, and he makes them into pretty solid receivers.
But on the winning team side, I mean, Amon Ra didn't have a great game. Jared Goff, it took him a little bit. The two guys that stood out for me in this game were obviously Jamison Williams finally having
Yeah,
a game. Finally having a
big
game.
game.
So excited to see what he's doing. And then, but most of the story of the game came in overtime. The
They were
line
just pounding the
said,
rock.
yeah, we don't need a passing game, even though we got it. Give it to our offensive line, which won the best in the football, and give it to David Montgomery. Rams missed Aaron Donald, and that's
Badly.
why. And that's why. It
Their
was
defense
run up
still
the
is
middle,
bad.
run up the middle, run up the middle, run up the middle for about 80 yards for the touchdown.
They were doing that all in the first quarter too. Like in the first half, they were pounding the rock, and the Rams still couldn't stop it. Then in the third quarter, they were passing it because the Rams kind of had a little lead on them.
I mean, that's what happens when you
Yeah.
lose arguably one of the best defensive tackles of all time, maybe
Yep.
one of the best defensive players of all time. He's definitely in that conversation.
Yeah. So into the Monday night game, Jets 19, Niners 32. Niners, well-oiled machine, get it done again. Brock Purdy played pretty good. He didn't play bad. I mean, he
Aaron
played
Rodgers
half
got a
the
full game.
plays. Aaron Rodgers got a full game, which you love to see. Football fans everywhere love to see with how good of a talent, how good of a quarterback, future Hall of Famer he is. He played pretty good. Aaron Rodgers had a couple really good throws, especially like to Alan Lazard,
Mm-hmm.
with like in the Green Bay connection back, especially after Alan Lazard after Aaron Rodgers went down. He did not have a good year, so it's good to see him kind of reemerge. But the Jets defense got obliterated. Jordan Mason, as we mentioned earlier, he had a big game.
This
Uh,
game didn't really surprise me at all. This is
yeah,
exactly what I
this, yeah,
thought this game was going to be. The Jets are a good team. The 49ers are probably a top two team in the NFL. I mean,
yeah,
it's as simple as that. Like they were completely unmatched. Jets, there is promise there. Like it's not that bad. You played the 49ers in San Francisco. It happens. Believe me.
yeah.
Believe me, as a Cowboys fan, it is I've gone through it multiple times. It's just the 49ers. Like if you beat the
Yeah,
40, if you beat the 49ers, probably because the 49ers didn't play up to their talent. The
yeah.
49ers are really good. No shame for the Jets. They got some stuff working, which is good. Just get ready for the rest of the season. Be able to protect Rodgers, and you'll be okay. You'll be able to, I
Yeah.
think, make playoffs.
I thought their offensive line looked a little better against the Niners. Rodgers didn't face too
Didn't look
many
terrible.
much.
It
Yeah,
didn't look terrible, which I was expecting, but yeah, I mean, pretty simple. Like Jets don't feel that bad. It's the 49ers. They're a
the
machine.
week one. Yeah. Let's head into some honorary mentions real quick. Steelers beating Falcons, kicking 6 field goals. No touchdowns from the Steelers, and they still win, spoiling Kirk Cousins' first start as the Falcons. And it was just allowed. There was a lot of Steelers fans there from what I've seen, from what I saw.
Kirk Cousins did not play good.
Yeah,
Like
no,
they wanted Kirk Cousins so bad, and he looked not great. Like
yeah,
the Achilles injury, you could tell like he doesn't have the kind of mobility that he used to have. Again, it's week one. I'm not really gonna overreact, but I mean Pittsburgh, it's Pittsburgh. It's Pittsburgh football. They bring everyone down to their level of crappy football, and then they kick field goals. I mean, it's the
funny
Steelers.
enough. Funny enough is how all this time Justin Fields was rumored to go to Atlanta. He
There's
beats Atlanta.
There's
as a quarterback,
it,
Steelers.
he didn't beat Atlanta. The Steelers
I mean,
won the game because of two players, maybe three. Chris Boswell, TJ Watt, and then maybe one or two plays by Minka. That's it.
George Pickens had like 85 receiving yards.
Yeah, Pickens
Hey,
really
we'll
good.
count it as a win for Justin Fields. I mean, it goes in the win column. How about this game that we nobody saw coming? Patriots, who everybody thought was just going to have one of the worst seasons in the NFL. They still could, but after going into Cincinnati and beating the Bengals for first year head coach Jared Mayo with Jacoby Brissett, that was shocking. I mean, seems like Joe Burrow plays down to his competition, and then whenever he plays against elite quarterbacks, he just plays elite.
Okay.
But we'll see about
So
that this weekend.
what's the Bengals' problem with starting early? Like,
Yeah.
remember the not the year they went to the Super Bowl, but the year they made it to the AFC Championship but lost to Kansas City. I believe it was like Super Bowl 57 year. Remember
I
that
think
year?
that they didn't play them in the AFC Championship.
They did.
They
They
beat them the
did.
one time they did.
No, they did. Remember they played in Kansas City and there was Burrowhead? It was the year 57. Chiefs won
Oh
Super
yeah, I
Bowl.
think that was like the divisional
That
round or
year,
something.
that year, the Bengals started like 0-2. They just don't start good. Like, I don't know, like probably it's preparation by Zach Taylor. I mean,
Yeah.
but I'm not really Burrow's wrist could be a problem. It didn't look great, but I'm also not overreacting. Patriots, the thing I'm worried about for the Bengals is what happened with the run game? What did the Patriots do? How did Ramondre Stevenson do that to the Bengals? I was really interested by, but also the Bengals had a ton of turnovers. I'm not really going to overreact about uh, for most games because it's week one and a lot can happen. Even with Carolina, I'm not going to overreact yet, even though they looked putrid.
Yeah, they look pretty
That's
feeble.
that's just my. I'm not going to overreact about things. Like it's week one.
Yeah. I
Teams
think
could.
it's just kind of a common denominator now with the
I'll give you
Bengals
an
that they're just going
example.
to start slow.
The Texans last year started off looking like a tank bowl contender, but look at what they did. They made it all. They won the South. They won the divisional. They made it all the way to the divisional round before getting beat by the one seed Ravens.
Yeah.
A
I
lot can
think the
happen in an
Bengals
NFL season. It's 18 weeks.
Yeah, I think the Bengals started out slow last year too. I mean, it seems like every year under Zach Taylor they start off 0-1,
I guess
0-2.
preparation.
Yeah, has to be.
Preparation, but
Here's an interesting stat about Joe Burrow. He's 5-1 against Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, but he's 0-5 versus Baker Mayfield and Jacoby Brissett.
don't put Baker Mayfield down there. He's
Yeah,
Baker Mayfield is
Baker
a
Mayfield
good
is
quarterback. He's a
Baker
good
Mayfield.
quarterback.
Yeah, he is turned his career around in Tampa
He's
Bay.
one of
He's a
my
good
favorite
quarterback.
quarterbacks to watch in the NFL.
I mean, he's a fantasy machine now.
Yeah, I have him starting in one of my fantasy leagues.
He puts up like 25 to
I'm a,
30 every week.
I'm a big fan of the Bucks. I like the
Yeah,
Bucks.
he's a good player. I mean, let's head right back into the Bengals, heading into Arrowhead, 325 primetime game on CBS with Jim Nance, Tony
So
Romo.
we're finally getting the previews now. We're gonna start with Bengals Chiefs.
That's right. We're gonna get in the previews.
Okay.
Bengals Chiefs. Do the Chiefs? Does Joe Burrow go to move to 6-1 against Josh Allen and Mahomes?
No.
Or you think now?
No. Kansas City is a machine.
Yeah,
Xavier Worthy. I could see this game be a big game for Isaiah Pacheco.
especially with how
Because
Ramondre
like
Stevenson looked.
especially yeah, that's exactly why. I think he'll have a great game.
Yeah,
What do you think? I'll be right back.
going into this game, I would like to take the Bengals after a lot. I mean, I'm not definitely not going to pick the Bengals, but just previewing this game, Bengals coming after a loss, going into Arrowhead, they got to be fired up. They got to be prepared. They got to be ready to go because it's going to be one of the loudest stadiums in the country. Mahomes played good last week. He always plays good. I mean, he's the best quarterback in the game right now. Chiefs, as you said, well-oiled machine. Their defense looked pretty good. I
Hmm.
want to see how Jamar Chase looks. I mean, I don't even know if he really even did anything last week. It didn't seem like it because I was playing against someone in fantasy and they had Jamar Chase and didn't really make a difference.
Yeah, I mean,
They
Jamar
need him
usually
to
has
have a game.
Chase usually has big games against the Chiefs, and I'm not really gonna bet against Jamar Chase, but I think the Chiefs are just the better team. Like,
Yeah.
give me the. I mean, we'll get into it later, but Chiefs, and I
Uh,
think Pacheco. I think it will be led by Pacheco.
Joe Mixon's gonna. It's kind of looking like a big lot. I mean, their running back right now is Zach Moss, and he's really no like guy they can use to. They're kind of like really gonna be pass heavy this year, and they're gonna need Chase. Who the else do they have? They have Tyler Boyd still. I mean, I'm not even sure who else. I know they got Jermaine Burton, but I don't even know if he played on in week 1.
Yeah, because they're gonna lose. They're gonna lose T Higgins as well.
They still have T Higgins yet.
All right, so let's head on to the next game, which is let's go back to the noon slate, which is Browns at Jaguars. This is an interesting game to preview.
Yeah, both 0-1 teams coming off losses. Jaguars choking a game to the Dolphins with a big lead in the first half. Browns looked lifeless, couldn't move the ball at all. Defense,
I
and
mean,
offensive line looked bad. This is kind of a big game for the Browns, especially after last week, just to get off to a good start because they need a win, especially with what's going on in their
yeah,
organization this week. But the Jaguars playing their new stadium name, Trevor Bank Stadium. Did you see that?
yeah, I did. And
It's kind of cool.
I think I have to move because they're doing renovations soon to that stadium, right?
Um, I'm not too sure about that. We'll have to look
We'll
into
get to
that.
that. Get to that later. For
Yeah,
this game, the key player I'm gonna watch for this game is rookie Brian Thomas Jr.
yep. That's what I was here thinking of.
because because the Browns secondary looked okay. Like, I wouldn't say it looked bad against us. The problem with the Browns secondary was they couldn't get pressure. Last year, the Browns were so good, not really because their secondary was really good, but it was their defensive line that was their strength. They couldn't get pressure on Dallas. I think this game they'll be able to get pressure on Trevor Lawrence. But I do think Brian Thomas Jr. will be the key player because I believe Denzel Ward will be mostly matched up on Christian Kirk, which opens up Brian Thomas Jr. And he had a really good game last week. I really liked him in LSU. And I think the Jaguars, they need a win. I mean, you choked a game you should have won. I think they're going to be focused. Trevor Lawrence is going to have a good game.
Yeah, it's kind of
For
like
the
a coin
Browns,
toss game for me.
for the Browns side, you got to get the run game. Like, they have to get the run game going. Like, there is no you don't have you don't have a elite quarterback.
Yep.
How do you help an elite quarterback? Pretty much, if I'm the Browns, I'd watch Steelers football games to see how they win because they should be playing exactly like the Steelers: run the ball, play action, play good defense.
I think the problem with that in the Cowboys game is that we'll get into it in our State of the Union about recapping those games, but like they kept getting behind the chains, behind the chains, behind the chains that they couldn't run the
Yeah,
ball. Every time they ran the ball, it's a holding on their offensive line almost every single time, and Jerome Ford couldn't get going. And then whenever they had good passes by Deshaun Watson, they were dropped by the receivers, or he was
yeah.
getting sacked. I mean, their offensive line
It
played
was
horrible.
it was
We're
rare
gonna
though.
see.
I mean the Browns themselves, like there is a big problem in Cleveland, and it's not really because of their talent. It's because I don't really think they're following their quarterback. Like, I
Yeah,
really think they believe in their quarterback. That's the biggest
yeah,
problem. That's why I think if they will, even though it's going to be a $90 million cap hit, I think the Browns will absolutely cut Watson because if you lose a locker, you can't lose a locker room. Like, they have Jameis as the backup. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him in the few weeks
yeah,
just because he's a locker room guy.
yeah.
He,
If you want to win the locker room, play Jameis
Browns
Winston.
will play for him. Will it be
100%.
And it could be better just because James can throw a football.
Yeah,
But
Deshaun Watson's lost his touch.
and it sucks because like Texans Watson and Clemson Watson was so good. Like remember, like
Yeah.
take the crap stuff
2019,
out for
2019
take
Texans.
the crap stuff as a person out for a minute. He was a great player for a little bit of time. But then everything happens and then shoulder surgeries. Yeah, it's not great. It's not looking great.
Yeah, let's
And even though he's no longer the highest paid quarterback, he still looks like the worst contract in. It
yeah.
looks like the worst contract like in the NFL.
Let's head into these quickly preview these next two games real quick. Bears at Texans. Another Carrie Underwood game on NBC, 7:20 Central Time. Bears, they Caleb Williams could not get going. Their special teams and their defense won them that game. Offensive line is not good. They have all these weapons. Well, you got to protect Caleb Williams. And whenever Caleb Williams he moves out of the pocket too quick and tries to make the play that he was used to making at USC, well, you're in the NFL now, and that's not going to happen at in the NFL like it probably would in college. Gotta stay in the pocket maybe a little longer or move out and look up field instead of dancing around. But he's gonna get going. He's gonna have a game. We'll see if it's this week, but he needs to perform better than last week.
Yeah, which game are we talking about? Browns?
Bears Texans.
Yeah,
Talking about Caleb
I
Williams.
cannot wait for this game. This game's gonna be fun.
Yeah,
I think the Bears they have something. Like that defense is really
defense and special teams won him that game against the Titans, but
and
offense looked bad.
it's like every year with the Bears, but like they just need serviceable quarterback. Like they could have something. They could be a playoff team.
Eh,
Like I
Serviceable offensive line was not good.
it wasn't great, but they why they didn't use DeAndre Swift at all in the
No.
against the Titans game. You're gonna have to run the ball. It's I don't get why so many teams, especially
They
rookie
get down
quarterbacks,
quick.
don't you gotta run the ball. Like even if it doesn't work, you gotta keep doing it because it sets up play action, it sets up easy throws for Caleb.
Yeah, I think it's just because
But
the big
the game will come down to can the Bears defense kind of do what they did to Tennessee's contain? Not really stop because you're not going to stop. No team's going to stop the Texans offense. It's can they contain them? Can they keep it in range of Caleb?
Yeah, we're
That's
also going to see if the Bears can get some offense going because I don't even know if their offense got a touchdown. I think it was just special teams touchdowns and defensive touchdowns that they got. I don't even think they got any offensive touchdowns. They just need to protect Caleb. I think that's the main problem because he's moving out of the pocket way too quick because he has a cannon for an arm. I mean, it's not like he's throwing to nobody. He's throwing to DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Cole Kmet. He's got guys to throw to this season. So
yeah,
it's
and
like,
that's really the thing. Like he's got to from USC, he had to play hero ball.
yeah,
Chicago, he doesn't have to play hero ball. It's just kind of toning that down. And
yeah,
For Bears fans' sake, I hope this works. Like I
yeah.
really do. They need it. Like I'd like to see them. They're the one team that hasn't had a guy that thrown for 4,000 passing yards. I want the Bears to be good.
Yeah.
Like Chicago's a good franchise. Yep. Come on, Caleb. Uh,
Quickly go into Falcons Eagles real quick. I think the Eagles are gonna roll.
is
Hopefully,
this
Kirk Cousins can
Monday night
Monday
football?
Night Football. Yep.
Yeah.
Hopefully, Kirk Cousins can figure it out.
And I'll give you a little thing. Every time Kirk Cousins plays in Philadelphia, it's a massacre. It was a massacre.
And primetime games, he's also very bad.
Yeah, that's true. For the for the Falcons, run wide. Use Bijan and run wide. You're not going to run inside on Philadelphia. You got Jalen Carter. You got Jordan Davis. I think the way they have to do is they got to get Bijan to the outside. Use Kyle Pitts. Use Kyle Pitts as a blocker because he's a good blocker as well as a good patch catcher. Like he should be one of the best tight ends.
Hey, he
Run
caught a touchdown.
outside, run to the outside, while once in a while going inside to set up because you're not. Cousins isn't going to win you games. And that's not really, I think, why the Falcons brought him in. They just brought him in to be serviceable, be Kirk Cousins, be a guy that doesn't make mistakes. And that's really all they need.
Yeah.
Could they keep this close? Yes. Will I bet it? No, because Philadelphia is my Super Bowl pick, and I think they're a machine. I love their offense. I think their defense is going to get better every week. Philadelphia, I got Philadelphia.
Yeah. I think just one last. I think Kirk Cousins is starting to start getting better and better as the year goes on. Because I mean, the injury. I don't even think it happened 1 year ago yet. It
Yeah, it hasn't even been a year. It's like
and
week
then it's an Achilles injury. It's much different
like
from an
week
ACL
6.
injury.
It was like week 6 of last year, I think.
Yeah, I think somewhere around then. But an Achilles injury takes so long just to even get back to normal. I mean, just look
Yeah.
at guys in the NBA who's had that injury. They just do not come out. I mean, we were talking about it last week with the same when we were picking this game. Is Kirk Cousins going to be back to normal? Well, he wasn't really back to what he has been the last 2 years in Minnesota.
They just need to
We'll see
use
though.
they just need to use Bijan a little more than they did against Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Because drafted him for a reason. And it's not as bad as Arthur Smith was. It's not that bad. It's a new coach, and I get that. But you have Bijan. You have one of the best offensive lines in football. You played a Steelers team that probably has one of the best defensive lines and probably the best defensive player in football right now. Just run the ball, set some stuff up, and your defense just contain. Like it's the same thing with the Bears. Contain. Same game plan. I do same game plan for both the Bears and the Falcons, in my opinion.
We'll head into the State of the Union and
To people watching for the first time, Nicholas is a Saints fan. You want to explain why you're a Saints fan, just quickly?
Saints fan because my family, my mom's side of the family is from New Orleans. I've always just kind of inherited the Saints.
All right, and I'm a Cowboys fan. Sadly, I mean I've got a Cowboys calendar right here with Dak Prescott as my September. I am from Dallas, so I root for the Dallas Cowboys. It is painful. So, and this week is the
Need to go
but fourth and a mile bowl. Cowboys versus Saints at noon.
at noon with Tom Brady on the call. I'm going to start with the State of the Union for the Saints. I mean, 47-10 win over the Panthers. You really couldn't ask for a better start as a Saints fan. You just really couldn't. 47-10. The attack from Kamara got in the end zone, which fans were complaining that he was getting all his touches stolen from him. Derek Carr threw tons of passing touchdowns. He looked good, especially hitting Rashid Shaheed deep in the first quarter. I mean, the Saints defense was running everywhere, but that's typical for Dennis Allen. I think everybody just wanted to see how the new look offense would look under Clint Kubiak, and it was a chef's kiss. Perfect.
How did
No
Olave,
offense, everything.
how did Olave look?
He didn't get that many touches, but I mean, he did his job. He on the first play of the game, or not the first play of the game, but the first touchdown of the game, he took away two safeties and had one-on-one coverage for the deep ball that scored. So I mean, he brings in a lot of attention that can help the deep play action passing game. Which that's just something we've missed is different kinds of runs, different kinds of passes. I mean, it's San Francisco. That's a Kyle Shanahan tree, and that is exactly what the Saints need this season if they want to be good.
And after my State of the Union, if you want to ask me a question kind of like you did, then go ahead. So for the Cowboys State of the Union, let's start with Dak Prescott becoming the highest paid quarterback over on Sunday. Right before, I have my thoughts about it, but right now I'm gonna root. Right now I like Dak, and let's do it. I'm a Cowboys fan, so I'm gonna roll with him. If that's what they think's best, we'll do it. Now to the game. Dak looked good. Dak looked good. CeeDee Lamb, thank the Lord we paid him.
Yeah, you look
Our
good.
offense. He is our offense. He's
Yep.
so good. like I thought he'd be injured already because that's just Dallas Cowboys receivers for you. When they sign a big hunter, they get injured. It's like Dez Bryant last time at 88. Knock on wood, that doesn't happen again. But the surprise for me was the defense. They didn't miss this. They didn't skip a beat
Yeah.
with losing Dan Quinn. I thought they'd maybe have some problems with Cleveland. I thought maybe the offense would have problems. They did their job. I mean, Dak Prescott did good. I mean, Zeke looked he
Yes,
looked
he looked
way
good.
better than I thought he would. I like not prime Zeke, obviously, but serviceable. That's serviceable running back play by Zeke. I'm impressed. The defense, so happy with it. They fly to the ball.
Yeah, I'm
And
scared.
Aaron Hendricks, where did he
He,
come from? I mean, the one free agent signing of the Dallas Cowboys, it worked.
I guess it helps he played for Mike Zimmer, so he
That,
got here to do
that's
the
fair.
system.
Micah Parsons being Micah Parsons, he'll get paid probably after this season. He's
Hopefully.
he's great. Trayvon Diggs, thank thank you. My favorite player is back on the Cowboys. He's back playing.
You're
He
on
got
Bland get back. You seen
and
Bland get back.
I don't remember his first name, but there's this rookie cornerback, Clark. We just got out of this year in like the third round.
Yeah, he looked pretty
But
good.
yeah, I was impressed. Like he did he got beat obviously like a rookie should, but he looked good. Like he covered Amari Cooper and Jerry Judy, two really good receivers in this league. I was impressed, and I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm not
Mm.
saying not all the way back to Super Bowl like
Yeah.
the Cowboys fans are. I mean, I mockingly talk to my Cowboys fans like we are winning the Super Bowl. Do I believe that? No, not yet, but we'll see. I mean, I'll take it week by week.
Yeah. I was really impressed with the special teams. I mean, Brandon Aubrey's the best kicker in the game right now. He almost kicked that 70-yarder. I wish he did.
It's him. It's him or Harrison Butker. Probably him
Yeah.
or Harrison Butker.
Keontae Turpin finally got his touchdown.
Oh,
That was
believe me. I
explosive.
watched him in the XFL. I watched him in the XFL. I watch all those spring leagues. You should have seen him in his first preseason with the Cowboys. He returned everything, and he's
Yeah.
always really good. It's just he's never had that return touchdown, and finally he got one. And I'm so
See him
happy.
get in for more offensive packages. If he could just, I feel like his problem as a receiver is he can't really catch.
The Dallas Cowboys have really gone to the spring leagues for their special teams and found two Pro Bowlers.
Yeah.
Guys, they'll probably be on the team for a long time.
I mean, I think my only question for you about the Cowboys, their defense is insane. But offensively, like, what do you like? You need more weapons. I mean, like,
Yeah.
CD, I can't just, I mean, Brandon Cooks, he looked pretty good, but
Brandon Cooks is like Mr. Reliable. He's
yeah. Does
Mr.
that kind of worry you?
Yes. Like I would not be surprised if Dallas made a deal at the before the deadline to go get like one more guy. Not even like a star, for instance. Like T
And
Higgins.
Noah Brown or
They won't
something.
get like T Higgins. They won't get like T Higgins. But I could see him get someone like maybe John Mechie if they traded him because they're so deep. Texans are deep at receiver. Someone like that where it's like guy who's super talented and young. They just
Yeah.
need one more guy on the offense just to take some load off of CeeDee Lamb.
I think John Mechie would be like perfect. I mean, I'm pretty sure they were shopping him for, I mean, like before the season started to trade him, but we'll see.
I would
Let's get in.
I would be so happy if they got John Mechie.
Yeah, that would be a very nice. I think I'm gonna get in. Let's get into the preview of our matchup this weekend. I think I'll go with some of the keys for the Saints for to victory, and then you'll go over with Cowboys victories. Keys. I think the Saints keys to victory. Uh, protect Derek Carr because Trevor Penning, he looked pretty good the first game, but like, game that's week one. He needs to be consistent. I thought the draft pick Fuaga out of Oregon State, he looked very good, but I think he has like a back injury right now. He's day to day. Hopefully he plays. But if I see Trevor Penning matched up against Micah Parsons, I might just go ahead and turn off my TV. But that's the key to win right there. Just get out to a good start. Control the game because Cowboys like to move quick on offense, pass attack, and if he can just contain, if he can just what kind of play like tempo, just hold the ball hold chew clock, get long drives, especially with the run game you have with Alvin Kamara and Jamal Williams. I mean, you just have to control the game, control the line of scrimmage, because it's kind of hard to do that because Cowboys have a better offensive line, better defensive line, but it's going to be about if they can cover the secondary as well, especially if Marshawn Lattimore doesn't play, then you really going to need to get in your bag against CD.
For a keys to the game for the Cowboys, I cannot believe I'm doing this. This will be the first time probably since 2017 I've done this, but
Yeah.
they're gonna have to. I mean, that was like the one thing that they really couldn't do on offense. Like the offense, I mean, they did their job. They didn't really have to do much against Cleveland because the defense played great. For the offensive side, I'm saying throw a few more go short passes. Just get the ball out quick because we have a problem with that as well. Our offensive line because there's certain guys that are like young. Like we have Cooper Beebe, our center is young. Tyler Guyton, left tackle. Surprised he looked really good because he was matched up on Myles Garrett a lot that day. But I'd say throw short and feed the ball to Zeke and Rico Dowdle for the offense. Defense, I mean, it's tempo. I
Yeah.
mean,
Get off the field.
get off the field on third down. That was the one thing where it's like,
They did a really good job against the Browns with that.
yeah. And use Micah like you did against Zimmer. Use Micah like you did last time. Use him mostly as an edge rusher because that's what he is. But in certain packages, when they're expecting it, bring him out into coverage because he can do that as well. Use him as an edge rusher mostly because that was the one thing with Dan Quinn I never got was he half the time he put Micah in coverage. I'm like, this guy's one of the best edge rushers in football.
He probably is the best edge rusher in football right now.
I'd give that to TJ Watt still. I'd still
Oh
give
yeah, TJ Watt, yeah.
still
Him and
get the,
TJ Watt, 1A, 1B.
still get the TJ Watt or Nick Bosa or like there's certain guys there. Myles Garrett's in there.
I don't know.
Go into the AFC. But but
It's in the NFC.
but yeah, I would say just be able to slow down New Orleans because don't okay, here's the true key of the game. Don't read your press. Like New Orleans is good. Like I don't know how good Carolina is. And
But being a team by 30 in the NFL is
but the
still
Cowboys
impressive.
read their press every single year. And last year they lost to the Cardinals. Josh Dobbs.
Yep, I remember that game.
So I would say I think it's gonna be a tight game. I think Dallas eventually pulls away.
Yeah.
Pulls away. And but I
I'm not
think
gonna I think on the Saints side, I'm not gonna really be mad if we lose. It's more so just the way it happens. If we lose a close game, I'll be still optimistic about the season and hopeful. Because I mean the Cowboys are a damn good football team with how the week one went. I mean,
yeah.
best defense is still in the league and a really good offense. But if they get blown out, then I'll be worried because the Saints defense is still, I mean, top 10 in the league at least, probably top 5 in my opinion. And they still got really good guys in that defense. They need to make Dak turn the ball over though. That's the thing. But let's head into picks, why don't we?
All right,
You you
let's
had a
do
good
it.
week. You went 11-4. I went 10-5. So I mean, we both had pretty
Hey,
good weeks in the
hey, I did
NFL.
better in NFL than I did in college. Maybe it's
There you
because
go.
the NFL is easier to predict.
Yeah. But let's head in.
All right. So
All right. Saints at Cowboys. You got Cowboys?
I got the boys.
I'll take the Saints just because we're going against each other.
All right.
Who's at Ravens? I think we can both go with the Ravens here after a bounce back game. The Raiders did not look good at all.
They will be angry.
Yeah.
Browns Jaguars.
Ooh, that's a close one.
I'm going Jags because I think quarterback plays better.
Yeah, I'll agree with you on that one.
but I would not be surprised if the
Yeah, this is kind of a coin flip game for me.
Jets.
Jets, Titans. I Jets. Titans kind of blew that game. They look pretty good, but Will Levis with the worst mistake I've ever seen.
I'm going with the Titans.
The Titans look pretty good. Tony Pollard had a nice game.
I'm going with the Titans.
Niners, Vikings. Will Sam Darnold beat his old team?
It's in Tennessee. Oh, this one I could see the Vikings win this game.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked.
Okay. Chargers Panthers. How
They,
bad? How bad are the Panthers?
they're very bad. We'll see though. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, they lost Derek Brown. Maybe if they had Derek Brown, I could maybe do the upset, but
I didn't watch too much of the Chargers, but I mean,
they ran the ball really good. J.K.
who's
Dobbins.
got it better than us? Nobody. And Jim Harbaugh wins again.
Uh,
Seahawks, Patriots. This is an interesting game. The Seahawks are down a bunch of guys. It seems like they picked up tons of injuries. Who do you got?
Still Seahawks.
I'm gonna pick the
Mike
Patriots.
McDonald will figure out how to stop that run game for the Patriots and make Jacoby Brissett win them the game.
Patriots still have a good defense. I mean, New England.
Oh boy, here, look at this next one. We got a tank bowl.
Oh yeah.
We got a tank bowl.
Go with it. I was watching a lot of the Bucks Commanders game, and I really liked what I saw about out of Jaden Daniels. He ran the ball super well
Here's
against his old receiver with the Giants, but it's in DC. I got the Commanders.
here's the interesting thing though. Daniel Jones is really good against Washington. This is the one team he's really good against. But yeah, I can't do the Giants. Like I like James Daniels too much.
This is an interesting next game. Bucks at Lions.
This is my game of the week. I
Yeah,
cannot wait for this game. This is a divisional round matchup, and I'm going with the upset.
I'm gonna take the Lions here, just because it's at home. I think they played it last year. The Lions won that game
Actually,
in Tampa.
switch. I'm gonna pick Lions. I'm gonna pick the Lions. They have a better run game than the Bucks.
Yeah,
They'll eventually shut down their secondary. Colts Packers without.
I think I'm gonna go Colts, just because I don't trust Malik Willis.
I'm gonna go with the upset. I got Green Bay.
I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't.
I like LaFleur more than Steichen.
Yeah, I mean, it helps. It's at home in Lambeau.
Yeah, that does help.
Rams at Cardinals. Cardinals actually look pretty good.
They
So I
have
got
um
Rams in a bounce back. They did not give Marvin Harrison. Did you see that one play at the end?
yeah.
And when Marvin Harrison was wide open in the end
For
zone.
the Rams, it's stopping James Conner up the
Yeah.
middle.
And
I
Kyler.
think Rams will adjust and they will win because I don't think the Cardinals secondary is that good and Stafford looked like
Stafford.
Stafford.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Probably the lowest scoring game of the week. Steelers
Yeah.
Broncos.
Give me the Steel City. Look, did you see Bo Nix's line? I was looking at it. His stats, it was like after the first half or something. He was like 9 for like 18 or something with like 52 yards. Like, dude, are they just throwing like check downs the whole time with them? I mean, he ran the ball good,
That's
but
the
like,
Sean Payton offense. They run checkdowns the entire
yeah,
time.
that's true. I mean, I kind of knew that for a while, but I
I
guess
got
it helps when you have a Hall of Fame quarterback for so many years.
I got the Steelers. I got the Steelers, but I could see the Broncos win this game because this is a Steelers game to lose. I wish Russell Wilson was playing this game. So
That's my wish. It could have been a revenge game.
it would have been so funny.
I mean, I think they'll still own them with Fields. Their
Probably.
defense is so good. I love the Steelers defense. All right, Bengals at Chiefs. Does
I
Josh
said
does
I said already,
Burrow?
but Isaiah Pacheco, Chiefs.
Yeah. I think I just can't doubt the Chiefs. I'm not picking against them. Bears at Texans. Texans for me.
If this was in Chicago, I would pick the Bears.
Yeah, I
I
agree.
would, but it's in Houston.
Texans, I think I want to see Caleb Williams have a big game.
I would.
Pass wise,
Yeah.
especially
And
on prime time. He needs to show that he was better than he was. Show that he was actually deserving of the #1 pick, which he was. Falcons, Eagles to finish off this pick.
I got the Eagles.
You got the Ego Eagles.
Eagles.
Fly Eagles fly. I
Yeah.
think Hurts is gonna have a turnover-free game. Kirk Cousins is gonna have a little better game, but the Eagles are just too much. Saquon's probably gonna get in the end zone again. Hopefully, Devontae Smith gets in the end zone for me for my fantasy team, but we'll have to see. But that wraps us up for a week for our second NFL episode. We hope you guys enjoy your weekend watching football.
I'm looking
And
I'm looking at predictions last week. One last thing. You picked the Giants over the Vikings?
hey, I thought, I mean, it was a bad pick.
Whatever. I mean,
Hey, 10-5. Well, we both could have been
I mean,
11-4.
you absolutely destroyed me in college, so I can't talk at all. I can't really.
Hey, I'm only down by one game against you in NFL.
True. We'll see.
Hey, we'll see. Good episode. We'll see you guys next time on the college football episode. But that's all for the Fourth and a Mile podcast. We'll see y'all later. Peace.
Peace.